Do you have the intro lady one?
All right.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right, welcome to Peaches and Bananas. We are being festive tonight. We thought that rather than having a snappy, catchy, humorous tease, we would just look humorous. What do you think, dude? You look pretty humorous.
Well, good, because I've got my snowman hat on and my lights.
Yeah, we got our lights going and everything. So, yeah, welcome for joining us. We got, I got to switch out of a camera here real quick here on another program. Yep, go to me. And, so yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It's going to be a fun show.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
It's jam-packed.
You can say that again.
I don't want to steal your thunder, though.
Oh, well, I don't have much thunder to steal, or I don't have much thunder to give away to a thunder thief. But I will say, I do want to go ahead and pop my friend Roy Hambrick here. Small Town Underground. It looks like the Grinch, doesn't he? Doesn't that look like a Grinchy shirt?
It's got the colors going.
Got the colors going. So I want to pop his show coming up on Wednesday. He's going to have State Senator Colton Moore, who is announced his bid to run for Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat. And I'm curious to see what he has to say, what his strategy is. Roy's up there in the 14th district with Senator Moore. Roy does his show from the 14th district. And Small Town Underground, they're friends of the show, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We had a great time with Roy.
Always a great time with Roy. The guy's so humble and down to earth. But he is, he's bringing people to the platform, to the microphones, and giving people a chance to speak. And he's trying to put aside, some of the petty stuff and let people speak. So, that music's set to loop. Anyway, we encourage everyone to go to Small Town Underground. I think he will be at 9 o'clock. It's either 8:30 or 9. So you have to check. But I think that Roy is it might be 9 o'clock, but he's on X, Rumble, and Facebook.
Right.
Right? Any others that I'm forgetting?
Those are the ones that I know. I think he's on YouTube too.
I don't know if he is. Just don't quote us on the YouTube thing, but definitely Rumble, X, and Facebook. And Roy is, I'll be there. I'll be in the chat Wednesday night, and just want to give Roy a good shout out there. So, all right. So, what are we doing here tonight, dude?
Yeah. Well, we have. I guess we're going a little bit of. What are we doing? Okay, so the rundown. So we're going to talk about highlights from the VoterGA call, and they covered a very productive set of meetings that the state election board had, where they got a lot done and got some strikes at Fulton. And we're going to talk about Tina Peters' very bad and very good week. She had a lot going on, and there's a lot going forward with her. And then we're going to talk about our free speech. It's free speech in danger segment for the week, and it'll be a little bit of the fallout from the fines that the European Union put on X, and SCOTUS sitting on a book ban.
It's a lot to do. We have like 20-something videos to roll, clips from the VoterGA call that happened yesterday. And it's going to take us a minute to get through it all. But it's exciting. A lot of big things happened, and not sure if you will think so, but we think so. And real quick, dude, what is Peaches and Bananas?
So Peaches and Bananas is where we get to tell you about The peach people in Georgia, this is a peach state, and since we go over a lot of the VoterGA call, it's a lot of the election integrity fight that we have going. We get to hear a lot from bananas and Banana Republic type of stuff, and the people that are obstructing free, fair elections and other freedoms too.
Yeah, and just to piggyback onto that, please go like, share, and subscribe or follow.
Yeah.
Us on our channel. Our channel is MAGA Struck. So Peaches and Bananas is a show that lives on the MAGA Struck channels on X, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook. And, I think that Peaches and Bananas has an account. We have an account on X, but are we streaming there right now?
Let me make that happen.
Okay. So, yeah, so she's going to stream. That actually would be a great step for mankind if we can actually stream on two X channels at one time. That would be one giant leap for mankind. We can do that. So,
yeah.
Anyway, we'll let Tania Dude. We're not supposed to dox ourselves, but we always do. And I'm sorry, dude. But anyway, we're going to let Tania Dude take care of that. And I'm going to load up the next graphic and just go into it here. I want to promote. Why does it always go to you on that shot?
I don't know. The camera just likes me better.
That's the wrong layout. Anywho, all right. This is our Give Send Go. And please consider going to givesendgo.com/Tania needs our help. Tania does need our help. And we're going to have a show coming up where we're going to do an expose about Tania Sosa. You're going to learn her name then anyway, dude. Tania Dude. Everybody knows your name. And we're gonna go behind the scenes with Tania, and we're gonna learn about what she does and how she gives, and Tania's an important cog in the wheel here. So in the wheels, the election integrity wheels. So we're gonna shed some things, bring some things to light about Tania, and I'll do one too one day, dude.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna get you.
But it should be a series because my life has taken so many twists and turns, as probably everybody's has. And we're going to also, before we dive into the show, we're going to share this one more time. This is our perpetual peach, Tina Peters, and part of the second segment of the show is going to be all about Tina. But she's our perpetual peach. And so we lead off every show reminding everyone that Tina is still a political prisoner out in Commie, Colorado, a state that I love to go to, grew up going to and skiing and recreation and camping and fishing. I mean, just Colorado's the place to go. I would argue it's probably one of the most beautiful states and maybe the most beautiful state in the country, but man, it's not beautiful right now. So Tina, we'll be hearing more about her, and just go ahead and jot down these numbers, 202-514-2001 for the Attorney General's office. That's Pam Bondi. And then the White House is 202-456-1111/1414. And whitehouse.gov/contact. Go ahead and jot them down now. We're going to lean on everybody to go to those phone number, go to one of those numbers or all of them, do all of the above, and keep putting the pressure on for the White House and the DOJ to act. Right, dude?
No, because they've already taken a lot of action. I should update that. Now the pressure needs to be on Colorado.
Okay, well,
and we'll update everybody.
Does it hurt to continue to pressure them?
I have no idea. Okay, maybe not.
All right, so let's jump into. Whoops! Oh, there's the contact form at the White House. You can. I didn't mean to share that, but I did. So, okay. Anyway, here we go to the first segment, and let's get the appropriate music going for this. This is. Our first segment is SCB, State Election Board, or is it slightly exaggerated bliss? Great graphic, dude.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of ways to read that. And I will leave that up to you.
All right, let's pull the music down here and let's get into it. And we'll pull the our live studio audience down as well. Okay, so what's going on here with slightly exaggerated bliss?
Okay, like where to start? So, we had Jan Johnston, who is one of our peaches, sharing the meetings this past week because John Favere was absent. And they got a lot of stuff done. They went through a lot of complaints for the election. And yeah, it was jam. That meeting was packed. So for now on the call, because there was so much happening, we focused on a complaint that David Cross and Kevin Monkla submitted, and it is about some missing poll tape records from the 2020 election. So there isn't. The poll tapes are like a register tape that you get when the voting polls, each poll gets at the end of the election, at the end of voting, and it has a record of how many people voted and the results. But some of that was missing, and first, Garland gave us some of his input on Favere being missing.
Yeah, there's some commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights, is we didn't have to see John Favere. By the way, why do people have a hard time pronouncing his name? It's pronounced how it's spelled. It's very simple, and you know who I'm talking about out there. Okay, he never says his name right. It's so easy. It's pronounced how it's spelled, Favere. And I think there's an actor named John Favreau where people get those two crossed. John Favreau. It's just Favere. It's just the way that it's spelled. Fervier, correct?
But maybe, people get some sort of mental block because of how he's been at the serving as chair of the state election board, and Garland will tell us a whole lot about that.
Here we go. Garland is going to tell us about the absence of John Favere.
I want to just roll right into the state election board meeting. There's huge announcements. John Favere, the chairman, did not show up for the meeting. Dr. Johnston said that he did not participate in the planning of the meeting. The review of the cases for the meeting hasn't been in the SCB office for 5 months. And my prediction is that I made last night, he has participated in the last meeting. I do not believe he'll be back. So huge victory going into the new year. I think y'all are aware of how subversive he has been and just basically been a force against election integrity in the state, which is disgusting because he sat as a chairman on the board. It's just unbelievable the stuff he's done, and everybody really knows it. So I think he's going to be gone.
You're going to be okay, kid. You're going to be okay.
Yeah, so, John wasn't there. Mr. Favere, Waffle House John. We know him as Waffle House John as well.
And Smothered and Covered.
Yeah, probably gets free Waffle House for life,
Yeah, and we've covered here a video by Kevin Monkla where he showed how through records requests of some texting that he was doing with another board member, him controlling the staffing of the meeting and changing the scheduling of hearing a complaint, where it really seemed like he was trying to manipulate the outcome and make it so that the case wouldn't have the right votes to go forward.
He's scattered, smothered, and covered is the joke. But it's like switching out a Waffle House waitress with a Waffle House short order cook. It just doesn't work, right? training and everything. So anyway, so David Cross made an appearance at this particular SEB meeting,
Mhm.
and
It's a blast from the past.
and this is a blast from the past here. Tania Dude and Viking Dude got the opportunity to help David with his campaign for chair back in for Georgia GOP chair back in the spring of this year. Gosh, it feels like it was forever ago.
I know.
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time traveling around the state with David. I was filming and capturing a lot of video of all these, round robin forums in these counties. Got to meet a lot of people. Got to learn about counties in Georgia. Some are crazier than other ones. Just gonna say. But so that was David's campaign. He was big into the Doge, the Georgia GOP, and I think that he has been vindicated in that now with all that came to light later after the convention, the rigged convention was finished. Then things like immediately popped about some of the I guess graft and just malfeasance going on there in the Georgia GOP, and it seems like people don't care in the state. I don't know. I'm a little bit forlorn about it, but that's our experience with David, and this is a guy who made the appearance is last Tuesday
Yeah.
at the SEB. And here we go with the first clip.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is David Cross. I filed this complaint in March of 2022 with the state election board, documenting systemic violations of Georgia law in Fulton County's handling of advanced voting in 2020. Our group paid Fulton County $15,800 in an open records request, where the county turned over 77 megabytes of records, every tabulator tape representing 315,000 votes. The state election rules are crystal clear. On page 2, you'll see the Georgia Rule 183-1-12.112 or .12 requires every Dominion tabulator to print exactly 3 tapes at the close of each advanced voting day. All 3 tapes must be witnessed and signed by 3 poll workers, or their reason for refusal must be noted. 1 signed tape goes on the polling place door. The second goes on goes in a sealed envelope with a memory card, and the third goes in an envelope with a polling place recap form. These signed tapes are the sole legal certification that the reported totals are authentic. Fulton County produced 0 signed tabulator tapes in early voting, as you just heard. Not 1 for early voting. Every signature block is blank. 10 of these unsigned tabulator tapes are from Mr. Rossi and Mr. Moncala's CB 2022-025 case on page 3. We found identical protective counters across several different polling places. Polls that were opened 8 days late, polls closed at impossibly late hours like 2:09 a.m. in the morning, and poll closing times that do not match the tapes on pages 4 and 5. On pages 6, 7, 11, and 12, we found duplicated scanner serial numbers where the memory devices were removed from one scanner and printed on an alternate scanner. These are not clerical errors. They are catastrophic breaks in chain of custody and certification. Because no tape was ever legally certified, Fulton County had no lawful authority to certify its advanced voting results to the Secretary of State, yet it did. The Secretary Raffensperger accepted and folded those uncertified numbers into Georgia's official total without questioning them. This is not partisan. This is statutory. This is the law. When the law demands 3 signatures on tabulator tapes and the county fails to follow the rules, those 315,000 votes are, by definition, uncertified.
Yeah, because without people signing these things, how do you know that they came from? So when you have people signing these things, you have 3 people that say, "I saw this thing come out from the machine," and that's not there. It's just blank now. But that was a heck of a project, going through those tapes and documenting all that.
Wow. Oh, so you did some of that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. I'm
Yeah.
trying to see what the next video is here and make sure that you'll know what we're playing. Okay, the next video. Are you want to just roll right in? It's more of David.
Yeah, it's more.
We've got tons of David here. Now, let us preface this, like all this was clipped out of the VoterGA call on Saturday,
Yes.
even though this is state election board. We do 3 hours on Saturday morning, so you don't have to. I know Garland doesn't like to hear me say that, but we do, and we go through it and clip out, the highlights, and so we can bring it to you. But this is all the points of discussion. So you're going to see Garland giving some introductions and making some commentary about from here on out. You'll see him in the corner of the screen. So this is all from the VoterGA Saturday morning Zoom call that we've been doing since 2020 and really haven't missed a beat, right?
Right.
All right, here we go. Next clip.
Fulton County's deliberate or grossly negligent destruction of the audit trail for more than 315,000 votes is a national disgrace. The only honest remedy 5 years later is for the state election board to impose sanctions on Fulton County, have them publicly acknowledge their violations, and for the state to decertify Fulton County's 2020 advanced voting results. It's not to change who sits in the White House or what the score was, but instead to place an indelible and permanent asterisk on the record and finally force accountability. It is very clear from today's testimony that there are numerous technological issues plaguing Georgia voter systems that could be remedied by hand-marked, hand-counted paper ballots, counted by human beings, not computers. I still have dozens of serious complaints in these folders here that have not yet seen the light of day, and Georgians still have no answers to the basic questions, which is, why has the Secretary of State not acted? Why has the Attorney General stalled for years? Why has no one been held accountable? And when will Governor Kemp finally step up and lead on securing Georgia's elections? Until those questions are answered and these violations are officially recognized, trust in our elections will remain broken. In closing, I respectfully request that you refer this matter to the Attorney General and Department of Justice, and I believe the maximum civil penalty is $5,000 per unsigned tabulator tape violation, assessed after notice and a hearing under Georgia Administrative Procedures Act. These penalties can be enforced by the Attorney General and Superior Court, along with orders for compliance, restitution, reprimands, training, and investigative costs. There are 134 unsigned tabulator tapes.
Wow.
That would be a fine of $670,000. I know it's a lot of money, but apparently it doesn't hurt enough for Fulton County to follow the rules. Thank you, and I'll take your questions.
Okay, that was a good show by David Cross there at the election board, right?
Yeah.
Good show. But I'm just going to say, Fulton County doesn't seem to be too concerned about any of this, right?
Right. So let's show him what makes you say that.
Okay, yeah. So is that the next clip?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fulton don't care. Fulton's saying, put your hands into the air like you don't care. That's what's like. You ain't getting no ballots. You may get some money, but you ain't getting no ballots. Ain't nobody gonna see ballots. Ain't nobody gonna, We may do better in the future, but as far as what happened in 2020, they're just like, move on, and we're like, no, we ain't moving on. It's the immovable object meets the unstoppable force is what we have here with Garland and David and all these election integrity folks. So, all right, are we sure this is the right clip?
That's what I had next for you.
Okay. All right, here we go. Sorry. I am doing my best.
Okay.
Let's reset. Here we go.
Ann Brumbaugh lied to the board, tried to get them to say that, oh, we're only talking about 10 tapes here. No, David requested everything, as he explained.
This case is based on a complaint from Mr. Cross concerning tabulator tapes that were not signed, but it was based on an open records request. Mr. Cross, what did you request in that open records request? Did you request a few tabulator tapes?
We requested all. We requested all tabulator tapes. We also requested the zero tapes, and we have no zero tapes. I mean, we're at the point right now where, to the executive director's comment, there's a lot of people that have no confidence in the system that we have in Georgia right now. And it is because we've been battling this for like the last 5 years and nothing has changed. And you're getting pushback from Fulton County right now. They're done. They don't want to hear from you. They don't want to hear from me. They just want to go on their merry way. And that is why I said in my comments, I think you should exact a high price. It apparently does not hurt enough for Fulton County to follow the rules.
I think we just roll right into the next one here. What do you say?
Go for it.
Yeah. So all right. So Janelle King is going to have some questions for Fulton County here, and basically Fulton's going to say, you know what, we don't care. Is what I'm getting out of it.
I do believe that we have the right to request to see all of the tapes, considering that was the original request in the open records request. What we're dealing with today is what we have, because that's all that was provided. So I would like to make a motion that we continue this case to January and give Fulton County the opportunity to provide us with all of the tapes.
We have given everything they could find.
Does that mean you don't have it?
If they haven't provided it previously, they don't have it. They haven't found it. I can't tell you what happened to those 10 missing tapes, but all I can tell you is 10 tapes were deemed missing over a year and a half ago. They are still missing, and we have given you everything else. So I would ask that this not be continued. It is abundantly clear to me that you have serious concerns about this. So make whatever decision you want to make today, and we have another 10 cases to do. So
okay. All right, I would like to amend my motion, and I make the motion that we send this to the Attorney General's office so that they can request the case and the tapes, as well as for the tabulator tapes that we do have that shows that there was a violation, meaning they were not signed. I would like to send a request to the AG's office to issue a fine in the amount of $5,000 for per tape.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
So it's interesting. Janelle King made the motion to refer it to the Attorney General, but not to the Department of Justice. I spoke with her after one of our breaks and reminded her that she can do that. And then on Wednesday morning, I think like around 11 o'clock or so, she sent me a text and said that she had, in fact, amended her motion to refer it to Department of Justice. It is in the Department of Justice right now.
Yo, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
That's a message to Fulton County Attorney Ann Brumbaugh. Here, let's do it again.
Yo, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
And that's a great update, too, that they're getting the DOJ involved, since Fulton County has this record now of ignoring subpoenas and not turning over all the records.
Yeah, and, I don't know. We're going to get into where they were talking about. Did we talk about the money anymore, the fines? No, we do not. They talked about the money. He talked about how it was a lot of money in fines. It's not a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, to Fulton County it is. So right now...
It is?
Well, I'm sorry. To Fulton County, it's not.
No, it's not.
We're talking about an amount of $740,000.
David said he's going to say it could be double to that. But, that's still just peanuts to Fulton County's budget. And I always ask the question, it's like, okay, they levy the fine. Fulton County hauls around, they finally pay the fine. If they pay the fine, it goes to the state, I guess. It goes to the state.
Mm-hmm.
The state appropriates money back to the counties. I'm not an expert in politics, but it just feels like it's like just funny money that just keeps going around in circles, right?
Yeah, it just sounds like they pay it off with one hand and then back into their other pocket. So.
Yep, and it all ends up probably back into the purses and wallets of the county attorneys who are just like, let's move on. Do what you got to do. I got 10 cases. I'm more concerned about my time. Right? That's what it feels like. I don't mean to be a party pooper, man, but let's just call it out. I mean, that's not that much money. So
yeah, I mean, there's this other issue that Fulton County has, that the commissioners are getting fined per day for not ceding to Republican Board of Election members, and the commissioners don't care. And that that case is still going on. It's been months. And was it $10,000 per day?
Right.
That's
Right.
accumulating, and they don't care. So
They don't care.
what's another fine?
Yeah, I mean, Fulton County is a huge county, and there's a lot of money flowing into the county slush fund. So anyway, all right. Well, next up, Garland is going to address Ann Brumbaugh, the Fulton County attorney, who he said, now this is where things start to hurt when you call them out on their conduct, right? Because the money is not a big deal. I mean, they know the money is funny money. Start calling them out on conduct. That's where it starts to hurt.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
The acts that David has described, and many, many other ones that we haven't gotten to, our cases as well, dilute the votes of every single voter in Georgia. When Fulton County stuffs the ballots and can't produce the records, that is an egregious violation against the rest of the voters in the state of Georgia. Ann Brumbaugh is sitting behind David, is representing Cherokee County, and then comes in and represents Fulton County in direct conflict with her own obligations to the Cherokee County voters. I've explained this over and over. I would love for the folks in Cherokee County to take action to get her out. She is a conflict of interest and a threat to every voter in Cherokee County, and she is the county attorney for the election board. So these are the kind of the absurd things that we are dealing with here.
So by conduct, I meant conflicts of interest involving yourself in a conflict of interest willfully.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know how it works, but it just seems to, yeah, when Fulton County majority blue, Cherokee County majority red, and you have Fulton County maybe stacking the deck unfairly with double votes and all this records missing. Yeah, just seems to be working against. If you're defending that, you're working against the interests of the other county that's hiring you. So I don't get how that works.
Pretty simple. It's called corruption. Corruption junction. That's my function. Corruption junction. That's my function.
Well, another word that I have for that is that it's bananas.
It's bananas. Oh, we should have given Ann Brumbaugh a banana back there, by the way. Anyway, okay. So this next video is...
Yeah, I had a banana for Favir, too. He probably gets banana jam with his waffles.
Yeah, I bet he has banana jam in other places. So, all right. So anyway... I don't know what I meant by that. I don't know why I say things like that. So anyway, all right. So this next clip, David, is we've got something. Oh no, I just lost my format. Let's open it up again. It timed out.
Oh yeah, it does that. But well, David is
Carr. We're into Chris Carr, the Attorney General, and the referral to Chris Carr.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, did I jump on you there? I'm just excited I got my format back.
okay. Well, cool. Yeah, I was just gonna set it up.
Yeah, you have any more setup?
No, let's play it.
Okay, here we go.
It seems like a log jam has now busted loose, and this is just the beginning. Interesting, and it also generates a fairly large fine. And then we have, I think, 5 or 6 other cases that are very similar in size and scope and importance. And so I think we're going to see things breaking loose next year, even though I'm not a big Chris Carr fan. He's now running for governor. And hopefully he's going to want to go dunk on Raffensperger.
David got the case referred, so there's going to be some accountability here, or Chris Carr is going to have to answer to us.
Yeah, get a little round of applause there for that one. Okay, yeah. So
So Chris Carr is the Attorney General.
No.
And so he's supposed to be the decider there on what happens to the case, investigating, holding people accountable, and getting any fines going. And there's a lot of skepticism because we've been at it for all this time. It's been 4 hard years seeking accountability and nothing happens. So we'll see.
Old David Cross isn't so skeptical now at this moment. I've seen him go in and out of skepticism over the past year, I would say. Not really. He's never skeptical, but he's he gets down about the progress. We all do. Gosh, it feels like we've been hitting our heads against a brick wall. Everywhere we go, every which way we turn is like a brick wall where we ram our heads into it. But we're not going to give up. If they think we are, we're not, right?
No, never.
This guy's not.
What makes you think that Mr. Carr is going to do anything about this?
Because he's running for governor. He wants to make a name for himself. So he's going to do everything in his power to dunk on Raffensperger and make his competitor look bad. And I've also got some inside information from one of our mutual friends who's having a conversation with Chris Carr right now. So Carr's very interested in this. He has political aspirations, and those political aspirations can hopefully serve us.
There is a rumor that Carr might resign from the race, or is that, David, do you know anything about that, or is that a false rumor?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything like that right now. So I'm excited about the prospect of being able to use this as leverage. And, to some of the folks, out there, saying that the money is not an issue. I agree. For Fulton County to write a check, but it's the embarrassment that's going to happen. And because they're going to have resources pulled away, it's going to force leadership, hopefully at Fulton County, to say, hey, you guys got to get your act together, because we can't afford to continue funding things.
Ooh.
Well, that's what.
Well,
that was.
I'll give him a.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Little glimmer.
Well, that comment was really confusing to me because I guess it doesn't. I don't follow the logic because we're holding Fulton County accountable. It's not Raffensperger, and it's always been the legal part, the legal action part. It falls on Chris Carr, so I don't really quite get that.
Which part exactly? Something David said or something I said?
David's.
Oh, okay.
But, we'll
at
see.
least you get some of it. I don't get any of it. Okay. Okay. So that was Chris Carr part 1 and 2. So Here we go with the
next segment.
With the next segment?
The next clip, which is kind of something that I was hesitant on sharing, but because it was said on the call and people might be commenting on it, we'll say it too. But
this is very reminiscent of 2020 and the whirlwind of podcaster stops and queue people stop limited hangouts. You just seem to bounce from the one group of hopium dealers to the next group of hopium dealers to the next group of hopium dealers. I'm not calling David a hopium dealer here.
Well, I am. And I think that I really hesitate. I don't like dealing with hopium. I'm not a hopium dealer.
But it feels so good,
I don't like
man.
to disseminate things that are like, go play it.
It feels so good to hopium. Come on, give me another fix.
I'm the party pooper here on this one.
Come on. It helps me forget. It helps me rise above it all, man. Here we go. Don't think this is going to happen. Don't know how it would happen, but then David even comes out and says, not sure how this would happen, but this is some hopium.
Don't know if this is possible or not, but if Fulton County does not get their act together and show proof that they put together specific reputable processes for this not to happen, I am all for the Army Reserves coming in and counting ballots. Because the last time I checked, folks in the Army are accustomed to following rules, following procedures, doing things in order.
And counting 1, 2, 3.
And following a chain of command. So yes.
Oh, yes.
Well,
Are you ready for this?
okay.
Are you ready for this?
Are you ready for the Army Reserves? Are you ready for this? Yes.
Well, I don't like that solution because that only works for you depending on who's on command. Because I remember in 2022 when there was some news about feds coming into the precincts and checking things out, everybody on Trump's side was the Republicans were freaking out because at the time they were getting orders from the Democrats. So I don't like things that you like when it's just going one way and not the other.
It's a blast from the past.
Oop, wrong. It was supposed to be wrong.
And there's also
Wait,
a
Roger.
process in Georgia law for when a county's messing up and county elections are messing up. So I kind of think that David just got a little excited there and
I am hitting the wrong sound effect every time. I normally have a little sheet here, but I lost a monitor because of the multiple cameras, so I don't have my sheet. I'm trying to go from memory. Anyway, I'll find it and I will use it at the appropriate time. All right, so here is the next clip, and this is now. I do agree that people are missing, are losing sight of, are being. I don't. What's the word? They're being kind of shuffled from one limited hangout to the next limited hangout to the next limited hangout, and it causes you to forget about the culprits going back to 2020. Well, David's calling one out here, and it seems like people forget. Everybody's all happy to jump in line with him. So here we go.
The governor, to me, is the biggest logjam in making a change here. It takes leadership. If you were a legislator in the House or the Senate and you wanted to bring up anything about election security, there was a implied threat that any other legislation that you were involved in, the governor would stop it. If you were involved in trying to get state funding or something like that for projects in your district, he would stop it. To my mind, the governor has been an obstructionist in these things. Be kind, be respectful, be professional, but reach out to the governor and say, it is time for you to lead. People of Georgia deserve to have confidence in our elections.
yeah.
I agree with every comment there.
Yeah, and that came from a conversation with the legislator telling a constituent that was the issue going on, that the governor was holding up certain bills and certain actions and saying that I'm going to primary you if you don't vote as I say, if you don't follow what I want. And the Freedom Caucus called him on it.
Right. And, I remember after the 2020 election going down to the Capitol for the Stop the Steal rally. And I mean, the most prominent sign, and we're talking, wall to wall people, excuse me, crowd of people, wall to wall people out in the streets out there. The most prominent sign was Primary Kemp in 2022. Primary Kemp 2022. It was everywhere. And everyone was chanting it. 2022 came along. Dude just coasted right into his next term. I mean, it's like everybody forgot.
And with a great margin, didn't he?
Yeah, real good margin, right?
Too good to be true.
Okay, and I do agree with this one as well. The media has not been helpful in the state. The media has been part of the rig.
Yeah.
Yep. So next comment from David is about the media. Here we go.
I haven't received a single media inquiry from anybody in mainstream media. It's all been alternative media.
Wait a minute. There's this common perception that what you described is nothing more than just made up make-believe fever dreams of Donald Trump supporters.
Yes.
when you have the hard concrete evidence and the state election board says, yes, this is credible, we're referring it for further prosecution.
Total crickets. And what's crazy, Ricardo, is that in the last several years, on multiple occasions, I've given very large files on these complaints to the Atlanta Journal, to the Washington Post, to the New York Times, to anybody that's out there. They don't want to hear it.
Yeah, that's lame. Because the media bias just really has to go. People should be able to see all the information out there. And that's creating a lot of divide and keeping a lot of people in the dark.
I mean, the AJC, even like WSB, a lot of the radio DJs or morning talk guys, I mean, they're just so in the tank. They're so in the tank for the establishment.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that it helps Fulton County get away with it because they get to run on the stopping the election deniers and blocking the election deniers. And then you have commissioners, Democrat commissioners in this case, campaigning on how they're taking the slings and arrows from the election deniers. So give me money, and they campaign on that. And
Well, this next clip, David gives us a little inside baseball on what he's learned from the state election board. Not that it's giving away any secrets or anything. I mean, we know that the cases before the state election board for the past since 2020 have just gone into some dark X-Files basement someplace, right?
Yeah,
even Mulder and Scully can't find the boxes with the cases. But so apparently they've surfaced, and there's a lot of them. Here's what David has to say about what they're trying to do to make the backlog of cases come to light.
Dr. Jan and Janelle and he had reached out to investigators to find out how many cases have not been investigated. That are still sitting in the to-do pile. And they said, well, we really don't know. And so they said, I want you to send them all over to us. So they sent them all over. And then Dr. Jan reached back out to the investigators and said, what's your process for prioritizing the cases? And they said, prioritizing? What are you talking about? So there was no process for prioritizing. So now what's happened is Dr. Jan and Janelle have gotten together, and they're calling out these cases as they see what is particularly important and impactful. So I think we're going to make several footsteps up the mountain in the coming months.
Yeah, so they actually had a number from that because Favir leaked that number to the press.
No, what was it?
And Jen Johnson
you remember?
Called him on it. It was over 300, 400-ish.
Yeah. Well, I guess while we've got Janelle and Dr. Jan in there, and the executive director seems like a good guy.
Yeah, James Mills.
Yeah. He doesn't get to vote, but he does have an impact in the meetings and the way they conduct themselves. And who is the other board member that was there? The other guy.
Lindsay? No, wait. I don't like it when you put me on the spot because I blank out on names. I'm not good with names.
Well, we for the most part back everything David said. A couple of things, the hopium thing. I mean, we're kind of like, yeah, man, we've been there, done that. Believed in too many unattainable things that were just crazy. But for the most part, I'd say 95% of what David said, I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah, good job. Way to go. So we're going to give David a round of applause here. And we are going to anoint him as our Peaches and Bananas Georgia Peach of the Week.
Yeah.
Good job, David.
Yeah.
We're very proud of you. Very proud of all you have done.
Yeah, there is Kevin Moncla is kind of the mastermind in behind a lot of these cases and putting all these arguments together. He's the author of a lot of these complaints. But David has been the spokesperson and the person showing his face at the state election board, and he's a great presenter.
Okay, well, you had one post here you wanted to put up here. Let me go to a different screen here. Let's go to this. Go do this. So here we go.
Yeah, and this is something that Holly Kessler snagged from the state election board meeting. A lot of things happened in that meeting, and we learned something from Bromba that is it's a fairly short video, I think.
Okay.
A minute and 20.
So we agree with some of the facts and we disagree with some of the other facts. Yes, 3 poll pads went missing. No, we don't think we failed to tell the Secretary of State's office. Having said that, the person who would have been in charge of this at the time no longer works for the office. But I do want to emphasize that these were poll pads that were used for training, and No Ink did wipe them. There wouldn't have been anything on them to begin with since they were used for training. But No Ink it is undisputed that No Ink was notified immediately, and No Ink was able to remotely wipe them. So there's no security issue here, and we disagree that we would not have, why would we have told No Ink and not the Secretary of State's office? That doesn't make a ton of sense. So we would request that this case be dismissed.
No.
Are there any questions for Fulton County?
You said No Ink wiped them virtually? Like remotely?
Yeah, disabled them, I guess is the
Okay.
term of art. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Any questions?
Oh, go ahead.
No, that was the
Oh, that
end.
was it. Okay. Yeah, it's like something
So
that we heard last week and something that we learned from Kathy Latham witnessing in Coffee County was that the tabulators, the things that count the ballot, can be accessed remotely by Dominion. And now we know from Bromba that the poll pads, the iPad-looking things that you check in when you check in to vote, they can be accessed remotely too. So you have 2 ends of the system, that the end that has a list of all the voters and the end that tells you how many people voted can both be accessed remotely, and we have that verified now.
Cool.
Not cool. Scary. Because the next thing is that now that the whole system was purchased by one company called it had a really patriotic sounding name, Liberty Vote.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And now they're in control, one company in control of both ends. And that's pretty freaky scary. And I think that we'll probably talk more about that in the VoterGA call next time.
Okay, well, that's the end of segment 1. I have here on the format, moving on to segment 2, we are going to start with we're going to start, it's not in the format here, but we are going to start with the letter of pardon for Tina Peters. Ready, dude?
Okay, ready, dude.
There we go. Here we go. All right, so moving into the next segment. Good job on the first segment. We should play some music.
Good job, Viking, dude.
Yeah, so
couldn't have done it without you.
Yep. Good job. Nice segment. All right, so kicking it off here with President Trump has pardoned Tina Peters.
Yeah, which is why in the very beginning when we were talking about Tina Peters, I'm like, well, do we really need to? I kind of contact the White House because President Trump on December 5th signed her pardon.
Yeah, you want to read that for us?
I can try. Okay. To all, I need to blow this up, Viking dude. To all to whom okay, I just look like I can't read, but I'm really sorry. The screen is really tiny for me. Be it sworn that this day, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, pursuant to my powers under Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1 of the Constitution, have granted unto the individual named below a full and unconditional pardon for those offenses he has or may have committed or taken part in related to election integrity and security during the period from January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2021, Tina Peters. I hereby designate, direct, and empower this pardon attorney as my representative.
You want
I
to read
can
it?
barely read it. Please continue, Viking, because I can't see it big enough to read
Okay,
it.
here, I'll take over. I hereby designate, direct, and empower the pardon attorney as my representative to immediately sign the grant of clemency to the person named herein. The pardon attorney shall declare that his action is in the act of the president being performed in my direction. And I don't know. I guess that's good enough. Do we need to read? Oh, well, here, we got to show that. The official seal and signature of President Trump. But yeah, this is kicked off quite a controversy and a little bit of a constitutional debate, right? Not a little bit, a big one. A big one.
A big one that might end up going all the way to the Supreme Court. SCOTUS.
Yeah, I got to find the next thing here. So,
yeah. So, I mean, basically, Tina Peters had a huge week. It started out, after on Sunday, there were all the social media reports of her having this persistent cough, that there was some exaggeration and speculation as to what it might be on social media. And that was one of the first things that I checked on, because social media was saying, there were influencers saying that she was coughing up blood, and that was not true. But there was also speculation that the cough is reminiscent of when she had lung cancer, and that is worrying. Like, you can have a persistent cough for many reasons. It could be air quality, but in her case, with that history of lung cancer, it is worrying. Then we also found out at the beginning of the week that her habeas case was dismissed by the federal court, and that was an appeal that she was making to the federal court so that she could go home while she waited her appeal. And the federal court dismissed it, saying that she hasn't exhausted all the possibilities that she can pursue within the state, and she would need to do that before going to federal court. So she gets to stay in prison. That was bad news. And then her attorney submitted a petition to the president for a pardon, and we found that out on Monday, and we get to hear about that from Tamara. If you're ready to talking about that letter.
Yeah, we're an hour into the show here. I had no idea that we would spend so much time on the SCB. So here we go.
It's a 9-page letter that goes through what happens in our elections, how Venezuela was involved, how Smartmatic was involved. So it's a great summary of what's really been going on in our elections. And then the last section, he explains how President Trump can pardon Tina. And you've probably heard me say on this call, as we have updated every single week as to what's going on with Tina, I have said, as has most everybody else, that President Trump can only pardon federal convictions, and Tina was convicted of Colorado state charges. And it turns out that what was written into the Constitution was very different. So from the founding up until the Civil War, whenever the United States was mentioned, it was not an it. It was not the federal government. It was all the states. So the president has the power under the U.S. Constitution to pardon federal and state convictions.
When the Constitution was drafted, there was no the United States.
Right.
To your point, the states created the federal government. The federal government did not create the states, and therefore that's why Peter Tickton and Stephanie Lambert are right, and that's what explains what Tamara is saying.
My apologies on not switching out the graphic there. But I guess you could argue it still is the voice of Tamara.
Yeah, and
right. Well, this is interesting. This is very interesting.
Tamara's other half.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Tamerland.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. And something that I make a point to not live in an echo chamber. I like to look at what other opinions are saying. And there's a case from 1877, Young versus United States, that says that if there is no, the court stated that if there is no offense against the laws of the United States, there can be no pardon by the president. And there is also a note on the Constitution, a footnote from 1925 that says that offenses against the United States was included to make clear that the pardon of the president was limited to offenses against the United States, different from offenses against the individual states. And there's other cases that it's come up. Carlisi versus New York, 1914, and other cases from. There's a note from 1866 and United States versus Klein, 1871, explaining that the pardon power is limited to federal offenses and does not extend beyond them onto the individual states. So I don't know there. I guess it's really something that they've got some case history to argue against the president's ability to do this, and we might just end up seeing it settled by SCOTUS.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
That SCOTUS video is way down there. Do you want me to jump to that one? Do you want to skip over some of this stuff? Why publish it? Recapping the trusted build and kind of recapping what Tina.
Yeah. So why publish it? So if you notice, the pardon was signed December 5th, and that letter from the attorneys had a date on December 7th. So the letter asking for the pardon was submitted after the pardon was signed. Why? Speculation there, but it might be PR, because the media again buries this. The letter is a record that was put out there. It's on social media. It's really easy to find, and it lists so much history, so anybody looking can get the full argument, because we're not likely to get a chance to get in front of the media and in front of just the public court.
Okay, so that was you talking to the Why Publish. We'll skip that video. The Trusted Build, we will skip that video. Fight Not Over. You want to jump to that one?
Yeah, let's go to Fight Not Over.
Okay, here we go.
The fight's not over, because all 50 states have been operating on this understanding that the president has no pardoning powers in the states for state convictions. And that's exactly what happened on Thursday night. The governor, the attorney general, the secretary of state, they all came out and said, this doesn't mean anything. She was duly convicted by a jury of her peers, and on and on. It was pretty disgusting. So they are not going to let her go. However, the county district attorney, Dan Rubenstein, who was the one that prosecuted Tina, he came out with a very interesting statement.
Oh, what was the statement? Is it in the next video?
Well, the video was the attorney.
It's in the next video.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah. So, we were going to talk to it a little bit, but we can jump right to it. Here we go.
Yeah, in the interest of time.
So that really sounds like he's backing off, that he understands there's some teeth in the president's pardon, and he's not going to keep butting up against it. So it was very interesting that very quickly he came out and just kind of backed away and said, oh, it's up to the head of the prison system in Colorado.
Okay. So people are kind of jockeying and kind of, backing around and, trying to point, I guess trying to dodge and duck behind the guy, whatever guy, right?
Yeah,
Kind of
well,
starting to,
yeah,
trying
so
to get out of the spotlight.
Yeah, they're saying that it's up to the corrections officer, but the correction officer has said that it's up to the court.
Okay.
Because from now they're going by the understanding that this is a state rights issue, and they're prepared to take it to SCOTUS.
Well, I'd say, that seems like that will be a long road to hoe for Tina. I so want her to get out of there. She was railroaded in the trial. We watched the trial. We watched it. She was completely railroaded. It was the most unfair, lopsided trial I've ever seen. Ever.
Yeah. And, and to really understand that, maybe, if you can get to the trusted bill, because Tamara does explain it there.
I can get to the trusted bill. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, because she explains how she was set up.
Okay, we'll show that since I brought it up.
Yeah.
Not in the interest of time now.
Dominion did a trusted bill, which is not trusted. We've talked about this before. It's a major upgrade to the version that was being used of the Dominion voting system, and it wiped out the election records. 29,000 files just in Mesa County, Colorado, were erased. But they did that in every county. Now, they made themselves sort of look good in that they, Dominion, contacted all the counties and said, be sure and back up your records. We're going to do an upgrade. Well, none of the counties had ever backed up their records, so they didn't know how. Tina asked the IT department in Mesa County. They said they couldn't help her. They didn't know how. So when she brought in a cybersecurity expert to make the forensic image, she ended up as the only county in Colorado that has the 2020 presidential election records. That's required by federal law. And basically the Secretary of State was in cahoots with Dominion to make sure there were no election records from 2020. And they used her as an example to say, don't make waves.
Yeah, so that's where they clung to, and the letter explains that the guy that she hired, the cybersecurity expert, she wanted to maintain his anonymity because of other work that he was involved with, because he was, I think it was Homeland Security and involved in some child trafficking investigations. So there was an interest in keeping him anonymous, and there wasn't a law for her to have to disclose his name other than a COVID recommendation, like a COVID procedure. So there was this rule that was put in because of COVID that she was asked to give in his name, but because there wasn't a law attached to it, it was just a COVID rule. She chose not to, and that's what got her in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
That this expert went in under using somebody else's badge.
Okay, well, back to the court remedy of this constitutional crisis. that would be the next video that we were about to jump to. It involves, Supreme Court. So we'll hear what Cameron has to say here.
Okay.
Again, VoterGA Zoom call highlights every Saturday morning in the Zoom call.
Peter Tickton is saying, because we've heard him on a couple of different interviews since Thursday, that where it needs to go from here, he can file emergency requests with the Supreme Court, because this issue of the president having pardoning powers for state charges has never been adjudicated. Yeah, so they operated one way before the Civil War. They operated totally another way since then, and it's never been challenged. So now it's going to be challenged.
So that sounds like an oversight to me. With what I what I heard, because of that Young versus United States 1877 that was after the Civil War, and his argument also seems to be ignoring the footnote from 1925 in the Constitution. So it's not a slam dunk, I don't think, at least from hearing the arguments from both sides. And but an important one to bring forward to SCOTUS.
Well, let's hope that there's some clarification, in this. Bottom line is, teen needs to get out of there, right? That's bottom line.
Yeah, something that we learned from the letter is that she has been physically assaulted 3 times to the point that the guards had to intervene, and also because of her illness and her health.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and so we'll hear what Tamara has to say here.
Tina is sick. She needs to be out of there. So keep praying for her release. I'm praying, one, that Colorado would just open up the doors and let her out. If they don't do that quickly, then the president needs to act and get her out.
Yeah, her case is under appeal. And she's never had any prior convictions of any sort, or even, David Clements likes to say she's never even had a parking ticket. So the woman has never done anything wrong in her life. Well, I'm sure she has, everybody has, but anyway, never in trouble with the law. And she was 69 when the conviction was handed down. She's 70 now. And,
yeah, and this is something where she's been unsafe. All this attention brought to her kind of seems to bring more resentment against her, and she's requested to be put into a part of a prison where there isn't that violence, that it's calmer, and that's getting turned down. But they put her in solitary instead. So she actually started this week when that petition came out on Monday. They put her in solitary.
Mm-hmm.
So it just seems to be like like she gets put into something that's punishment, into this intolerable, inhumane condition whenever they want to keep her safe. At least that's what they say.
Well, Garland's going to come in here and give us his, and he says it's his speculation, but Garland's he's pretty savvy. He calls things pretty well.
Okay, let's hear from Garland.
Here's how Garland says he thinks is how it's going to shake out.
Yeah, because I haven't kept track of Garland's batting average.
Here we go.
And Tim, if I could just add a couple little backstory and color commentary. I want you to think about this for a psychological perspective for a minute. Peter Tickton is pretty close friends with Trump. He doesn't need to publish a letter. Trump could have just asked him for it. So it seems to me that Trump obviously asked him to write the letter. He got, Stephanie Lambert wrote the letter. Peter Tickton didn't write it, I don't believe. Peter pretty much acknowledges this.
Yeah, her credit.
Yes, he gave her credit. Stephanie wrote the letter. I believe that Trump asked him for the letter in order to act. And he got Stephanie to write the letter, then he gives it. And the the marketeer of the letter, and he's close to Trump, so everybody knows that that's what Trump believes and wants to act. So now the burden is on Moses Stancil. Okay, it's not on the governor of Polis anymore because the habeas corpus was filed against Moses Stancil. So now Moses Stancil, who was appointed 2 years ago, 3 years ago, was 2 years ago,
23, 2 years.
By Governor Polis, now he has a choice to make. He's going to either be loyal to the guy who appointed him and risk his neck, or he's just going to simply save his own skin and let Tina go. So he has no vested interest in keeping her. Polis, and you can see the people who do have a vested interest in keeping her in prison. Polis, Weiser, the Attorney General, and I think did Rubenstein write that letter as well? They are the ones who are involved in the corruption. If you remove the Dominion voting system out of Colorado, I think you would find that Colorado was a red state all along, and it turned blue. Just like Dallas County turned blue after Hyder Garcia from Venezuela was hired as the Dallas County elections director, then fired, and now they've gone to paper ballot. So this is all starting to come to light now. But that's the dynamics, I think, that's swirling around this. So now Moses Stancil has been given the opportunity to do the right thing, and they've taken it away from Polis. And now I think there's a good chance he might just go ahead and do the right thing, and that'll be the end of it. And that keeps President Trump from doing more federal power. Otherwise, maybe we'll see the U.S. Marshals come in and pull her out along with some military operation and just get her out of there. I don't think we're too far off from that. So anyway, that's all of that is speculation. I don't know a thing about, for a fact, but that's just my speculation.
Would somebody please answer that?
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused, Garland. I couldn't quite follow G there. I would have to ask him.
Well, I have all the respect in the world for Garland. I mean, he sees the political connections. He's written books. I haven't. That's supposed to be funny. It's so hard to get you to laugh sometimes.
Nice. I needed to hear that, dude.
Well,
no, I just
All right then.
Would somebody please answer that?
all right, here we go. Next video is the plot thickens. And we are going to hear one reason why they think it may work out this way. Now, this is an angle. This is angling here a little bit. Come on.
The Department of Justice has started an investigation into the Colorado prison system. And it's based on treatment of Tina, but it's also based on what's been going on in the youth detention facilities across the state. It's horrible what has come out. So Stancil is under extreme pressure anyway. So this is one way to kind of relieve some of that, because he's going to have to answer for this. I mean, it's sounding like that some of these facilities are in such bad shape that they need to be shut down.
Yeah.
And the inmates moved. I mean, just in the last couple of weeks, Tina mentioned that she was getting dehydrated because she could barely drink the water because there was worms coming out of the water fountain.
gross.
Ugh. Yeah, she needs to get out of there. Wormy water.
Yeah, everything that we've heard all along, like they've been unable to do temperature control. So in the summer, the AC was blasting way too cold that it was frigid cold. And really recently it was super hot at 85, and then they got it so that the cells were too cold again. And in the winter, that's not good. And moldy bread with peanut butter as a diet. So there does seem to be some reform, and that's what that announcement gave me a lot of hope for Tina, because the investigation into the prisons by the DOJ announced, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday that was announced. It seemed to be a, like at least where I thought they would have a sooner outcome, a sooner, better, good outcome for Tina there.
Well, let's hope that this goes Tina's way. But things are definitely moving, right?
Yeah, and there was a lot of movement.
Okay. Is free speech in danger? Is it?
Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, so last time we talked about the European Union giving X this huge fine because they wanted X to control speech. And it was really extreme. So even like this comedian that in a show called herself a spaz, she was arrested for that. So they're becoming total snowflakes over there. It's quite very mushy bananas. Right. And JD Vance responded to that. And we can hear it from him.
There we go. Whoop. There we go. So did you want to read his post or did you want to just jump right to the video?
I think I wanted to hear from him in the video.
I'm trying to get to the right screen here. There we
Okay.
go. All right. So, yeah, the right layout, I should say. Okay. So we'll just hear straight from JD Vance here. Here we go.
Entire defense is subsidized. Germany's entire defense is subsidized by the American taxpayer. There are thousands upon thousands of American troops in Germany today. Do you think that the American taxpayer is going to stand for that if you get thrown in jail in Germany for posting a mean tweet? Of course they're not, right? So the point that I try to make to our European friends, and I think that they're our friends, I believe that, I know President Trump does, is that friendship is based on shared values. You do not have shared values if you're jailing people for saying we should close down our border. You don't have shared values if you cancel elections because you don't like the result, and that happened in Romania. You do not have shared values if you're so afraid of your own people that you silence them and shut them up. Germany's entire defense is subsidized by the American taxpayer.
Yeah, so
the X repeats. I don't know how to turn that off, but yeah, so
very kindly, JD Vance is giving a message to Europe and these countries whose military and is subsidized by the United States that we might not be continuing helping you out if you are going to take this if you're going to just turn your back to free speech and imprison people and eliminate it from your countries, because then that, like the banner said, friends don't let friends censor friends.
Here you go. Appeals court rules Texas library can remove books based on content. Next.
And yeah, so there's also this United States participation in NATO that is under review. President Trump does not want to stay in NATO, and it seems that this stand against free speech is in the consideration, and be it a bargaining chip that the United States is going to try to use to restore free speech in Europe, or what will remain to be seen. So we'll keep our finger on that. And something else that came up recently this week is that, and the other slide was my setup, Viking dude. So the background to. So this week, okay, I'll say this week with what you're showing right now. The Supreme Court declined to hear a book ban case that was being appealed and of interest to free speech groups. And this is kind of a tricky thing because what was really going on is that in this conservative community in Texas, there were books that the community asked the libraries to remove from the school system, and these included the LGBT, LMNOP books, and there were books about slavery and racism that the community was asking to remove from the shelves. And there was some opposition to that, and took the library to court because it was being called a book ban. And now the Supreme Court decided to the courts supported the library's right to curate what books they had, and that's based on a 1982 decision that it gives schools that discretion about related to the content that they have in the libraries, and just as long as that, with a caveat that discretion may not be exercised in a way that it's partisan or political. But there was a book about the KKK that they removed. So the lower court decided that the books could be removed, and it's being called a book ban, and that's kind of a misnomer, a total misnomer. It's a total manipulation, because they're not banned; they're just removed from a school library. If anybody was interested in getting those books, there's resources to get them. Like, you could buy them on Amazon. So it's not a true book ban. It's just restricting them from access to kids who may not be, the parents in the communities did not agree should have access to those books. And, it's kind of like the argument of letting kids be kids and not having them grow up too much by exposing them in inappropriate content. And you didn't hear all that because you had to take care of.
Yeah. Well, my dogs are exercising their free speech, so I had to tend to potty time for the dogs. But look, so where do you fall on the side of free speech with regard to the book ban in schools?
Well, the books aren't banned; they're just removed from school libraries. So
okay. You probably covered that while I was gone.
Yeah. And so this is kind of where it gets frustrating, that to make a case, to make a point, to bring alarm, they're calling it a book ban. And I think that SCOTUS did the right thing, and the lower court did the right thing in giving the school the right to decide, because part of the job too about the school is to educate and not indoctrinate and not harm kids. And these books were on a list of books that were red flagged as to their content. And I guess I speak from my own experience, because there was a book that I had to read in school that I was really uncomfortable reading. I was kind of traumatized by it, because it was it described raping a woman with a bottle. And it was among these books that were just published by, that they're kind of given a platform because it was written by a group that had been sort of censored and discriminated against in the past, and it was touted as being from that community. So just a lot in schools under that banner, but it was really disturbing and gross, and just even though I didn't even know what rape was at the time, and the word used was, that it was assaulted. So the assault, I just thought it meant that she was hit with a bottle before I learned that it was something worse. But it was something that I really wish that I hadn't been exposed to as a kid. It's not appropriate. It's scary. And then I felt so embarrassed to even tell my mom about it so that she could complain to the school on my behalf. And so, yeah, I kind of agree in that it is incumbent on the schools to keep kids safe and protect them from being exposed to things that it's better suited for adults. On that note,
yeah, well, had some rough points tonight, some rough moments. Sorry about that. Prepping this show today was tough after the Christmas parties.
yeah, this one is where I'm sorry that we're live. I wish that we could do some editing on this one.
Well, we want to, that's the nature of live, dude. Normally we're a little better prepped, but we did have some other priorities this weekend. We did our best, and we hope that you'll grow with us as we grow. But we want to remind everyone to please. Why is it displaying like that? Oh, I know why. There we go. We'll remind everybody to please go follow us on X, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook. Follow us, like us, share us, subscribe us. We're getting better every show. Sometimes we take a little mini step back, but we make leaps and strides forward. We're going to keep going. We're the Magastruck channel. Well, let's get another Christmas music going here. How about this one? We're the Magastruck channel. So please feel free to help us out and tell your friends and come and see us. And let me switch over to our. There we go. All right. So we're going to sign off.
Bye.
Want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Maybe we'll see you again before Christmas, maybe not. If we have a show, it will probably be as ill prepared as this one. Right?
Yeah, well, there were some lessons learned here.
Yeah, there's some things coming down the line here. So, but we'll certainly be back after Christmas for sure. We might be here next Sunday night. Anyway, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Merry Christmas.